Evening, guys. It's JB Taylor for Walkout Sports Talk. When the Colts released their schedule, I did an off the cuff, by the gut uh, record prediction video, and now I'm going to bring you my final, more more researched record prediction video. That's what this is. Down below is the Colts schedule. Um, Dark are the away games. Light are the home games. We have four primetime games, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner. Um, this is going to be an interesting one. The Texans are divisional opponents. They always play us tough because we know each other so well. Um, Mills is motivated. He wants to prove he's that guy. He's helped in the backfield by Dameon Pierce, but the O line is iffy. The two best on that line is Tunzel and Britt, and the Colts have rushing on the mind. We have some absolute studs. Ngakwe, Shaquille Leonard, who's off the pup list. Um, it's just going to be it's just going to be nasty. We have DeForest Buckner. I mean, just they're not going to be able to withstand this new rush pressure mentality of the Colts. I just don't think that they're going to fare well against us. I think we're just a lot better than they are right now, and because of that, I think we start the season at 1-0. Another road game, back-to-back road games against another division opponent, the Jags. Um, Jags have the 24th ranked O line. Their best were Robinson and Norwell, who are better at pass protection, although the line did finish above average. So, in the run more so than the pass, but they're both pretty much even. That's 24th ranked O line against Ngakwe, DeForest Buckner, Shaquille Leonard, safety blitzes. Our mentality this year is rush, rush, pressure, pressure, pressure. I just think we're going to be too much for them. I mean, I just don't think that even with ETN, even with Robinson, even with Lawrence having Kirk to throw to now as the number one, I just don't think they're going to be able to handle the pressure. I think it's just too much pressure. Even with our safeties being in question, our secondary being questionable, I just don't think it's going to be enough because you're not going to be able to establish the run game. You're not going to be able to have as much time to pass the ball as you'll want. So I think we start the season out 2-0 and we beat the Jags. Personally. Week 3, Chiefs at Colts. I mean, there's always the opportunity for an upset because, football's football. um, but the Chiefs have the 5th ranked line. All pro center in Humphrey. Thuney is an absolute mauler. I mean, it's going to be hard to penetrate that line, even with Ngakwe and Pie. I'm sure it's Quiddy Pay. I don't know why I keep saying Pie. I should put a pie graphic up. DeForest Barton is going to wreak havoc or try his best. Shaquille Leonard's always a beast, but I think even with our renewed vigor, in terms of pressure, bringing pressure, I just think we're going to get stopped at every turn. They're just that good. Yeah, they lost Tyreek Hill. They brought in Sky Moore, but Mahomes is going to do what Mahomes does. Juju Smith-Schuster, Moore, and Kelsey, I expect them all to just carve our secondary up. Stephon Gilmore is going to have a tough time. Gilmore really wants to prove that he has a lot left in the tank, and he's looked impressive in camp and spring training. My God. The preseason. It's just not going to be enough. Even without Hill, they're just going to own us. Clyde Ebersolaire is going to just run roughshod on us. He might have a bit of a rough day. Might. But Mahomes has proven he doesn't need the run to establish the pass. He can just make magic on his own. I think the Chiefs are going to own us. First home game, and they're going to own us. 2-1. Colts at Titans. Another home game. Another division matchup. Titans have the 25th O line ranked. O line. The 11th ranked secondary. Not the best wide receiver group in the world, but they have Derrick Henry. That's usually more than enough. The Colts D will, despite the pressure they'll bring, will have a tough time keeping Henry in check. The Titans always play us tough. But I just, because of that questionable receiving core, I just don't see their defense doing enough to really stop Jonathan Taylor. Stopping Nyheim Hines is going to be utilized in the backfield a bit more, and definitely going to be utilized in the passing game a lot more. I just think we have too much weaponry to really have too much of a tough time against the Titans. I don't think I can just see this being a Jonathan Taylor game. I don't feel that Matt Ryan's going to have to do a whole hell of a lot. I just don't. I think it's going to be a running back showdown. It can go either way because of that, but it comes down to the line, and I think, well, I don't think, I know our O line's better. That's going to free up Jonathan Taylor, who had multiple touchdown games last season. I think he's just going to run all over this Titans D, and we start the season 3-1. Colts and Broncos. Broncos coach. Let's ride. If I could find that GIF and somehow put it in here, I will 100% do that. I got a lot of notes on this one. I have a lot of notes. The Broncos secondary is 8th ranked. Their O-line is 19th best. They brought in Russell Wilson. That's a whole lot better than Drew Lock. The O-line gave up 28 sacks last year, ranking them 27th. Despite that, allowed 165 total pressures, including sacks, which ranked 15th. Their run blocking was poor. So that's going to make it difficult for Williams to really get the ball rolling. Melvin Gordon had to break the combined, actually, excuse me, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon broke a combined 108 tackles last year. That is poor run blocking, but that is two guys who know how to keep moving. But that was a different Colts defense. We have improved defensive players. We brought in Ngakoue. DeForest Buckner he's out to prove a point. And Shaquille Leonard is better than ever. I don't think anything's really going to change in that front. I think Williams and Gordon are going to have to break more tackles. They're just not going to be able to in this game. And that's going to force Russell Wilson to have to be mobile again. He's going to have flashbacks to his days in Seattle. But because Russell Wilson can do Russell Wilson things, I think the Broncos do get the win. Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, I think it's going to be enough. A mobile Russell Wilson, receivers getting open. I think the Colts are going to be caught off guard. I think regular game plan coming in. Let's provide pressure up the middle. Let's do some blitzes. Russell Wilson's going to take advantage of that because they know that the running game is going to have a bit of a difficult time getting things going. So let's do some slant routes. Let's do some quick drop-offs. Let's dink and dunk. Let's get the Colts off their feet. Then, bam, we'll have a lucky break of a run. And I think it'll be close. But I think the Broncos win, and we go to 3-2 on the season. The way I started off, I probably didn't think I was going to go at Broncos win. We played the Jags yet again. Second time meeting, more familiarity. Um, Not a whole lot of lot's going to change. Um, I think they're going to be in more of a rhythm. I think they're going to know how to balance Robinson and Etienne more. I think um, Kirk is going to be in sync more with Lawrence. Um, I think this will be a sharper performance on the Jaguars' part. I just don't think it'll be enough. It's going to be Groundhog's Day. We're going to dominate that line. It's a very weak line. Um, our secondary, I'm focusing on Cross and Blackman. They're not going to have to do too much. I think their corners are going to be fine. Um, I think I think Lawrence he's going to have to dink and dunk um, slant routes. I think they're going to put a lot of emphasis on the running game, and it's just going to be snuffed out, and then they're not going to know what to do. Um, we're going to run roughshod on them. We're going to own them. And the Colts win this one. Again, another divisional opponent in the Titans, week 7. This will be a tough one. The Titans always play us tough. I struggled with this one. I really did. I wasn't really sure how it's going to go because when you give Derrick Henry that much familiarity with the team, he knows what to do. Tannehill isn't the best quarterback in the world, but he plays us tough. Um, but despite that, I think we get the win. I think when you when you can't move the ball through the air and you rely on Henry, as good as he is, when you're that familiar with the team, they know how to shut you down. We're so familiar with them. We always play each other tough, but I think we're gonna get W because we know their weaknesses. They know our weaknesses, but they don't have as good of a line that we do. They don't have the weapons that we do, despite only having a real number one, and not really having like a big like sexy number two. I think we'll having Jonathan Taylor and Naeem Hines and Pierce in the slant and Pittman doing his thing. I think we'll be fine. We have um, Granson, who has the build of a tight end but moves like a hybrid running back wide receiver. I think in the red zone we're going to be deadly. I just don't think we'll be challenged too much. Maybe in the start, maybe we really get it clicking in the second half. That's the closest I could think the Titans coming to any sort of real action there. Um, I think I think we'll pull out the dub here. Moves us to Washington. Washington Commanders at the Colts. Carson Wentz when he's on, he's really good. He's really good. He will have a chip on his shoulder. um, they have an O line with high end potential, which is key because you want that protection. But I witnessed a full season of Carson Wentz, and I am still traumatized from it. He plays like a high school quarterback. He doesn't know when to stop, when to just let a play go. He will force passes. He will force. Um, he just dumb throws. He'll make stupid mistakes. But when he's on, he's really really good. Scary Terry in open field. Um, Gibson, um, Curtis Samuel. I mean, they're gonna ball. Um, they're gonna ball. Commanders have the number 2 D line behind the LA Rams. Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, Darren Payne, Montez Sweet. It's gonna put the Colts old line to the test. Prior, I think is gonna be overmatched. Um, Pinter, I can't read my own writing. Pryor's going to be overmatched. Quentin Nelson, I think he'll be the lone guy there. But when your center is the one giving you the most protection, and you have a vulnerable player in Pryor on that right side, Um, I think it's going to be um, a tough game, very very tough. I just don't um, because of the defense alone. I don't see us getting the win here in a shocking upset because you think Carson Wentz, the Commanders, what a joke, but I think they're going to surprise us. I just think that D line is just too much. When you have guys of that defensive caliber and you find a weak spot and you don't really have the formations or the overall talent to really correct the mistake, try to be flexible enough to patch up your weak spot mid game, which Pryor is. He's good. He's solid. He's earned the spot, but I think he'll be overmatched. I think they'll just run right through him. It'll be like he's not even there. Um, and Matt Ryan relies on timing. Everything he does is timing, and the timing will be disrupted. I think we'll try to get Jonathan Taylor going. I just don't think it'll be enough. Um, I think the Colts will be flummoxed. I think they might even be looking ahead, to the Patriots. I just think we're owned in this game. I think Taylor can figure out how to have a good game. Um, I think Pittman will do all right. I think we'll be half decent in the red zone, but the Commanders are just going to run roughshod defensively. Um, they'll have good field position because of it, and they'll outscore us. It'll be a close game, but an ugly game on our part, and we'll lose it. Um, yeah, Colts at Patriots. Pats are ninth ranked O line, and they have the backups. They can rotate out if need be. If someone is hurt, they just have the depth. The Patriots aren't going to have a good year. Um, People think Mac Jones, can take a step back from his rookie season, have a kind of a sophomore slump. Trent Brown, right tackle, allowed 9 pressures in 9 games. Never recorded a poor pass blocking season in the NFL. Shaq Mason was one of the best run blockers in the league. Allowed 15 pressures in 15 games. They have Ramondre Stevens, uh, who the Pats are buzzing on. Damian Harris could put yards on the ledger. Don't forget that. Despite um, despite Mac Jones um, being ass in this game, and I think he will be because our defense is so strong. I think the running core, I think they'll shine and shine bright. Um, I, I think because of the pressure though, we're gonna force Mac Jones into a lot of mistakes. I think we're gonna show him windows that aren't really there, and he's gonna throw into them, and we're just gonna pick them off. Just gonna pick them like apples. Um, the Patriots have the 23rd ranked D line. Um, when you put Jonathan Taylor up against a D line with that ranking, he's gonna own you. He's gonna bend you over and make you his bitch, and that's exactly what he's gonna do. Colts are gonna win this game. Colts are gonna win this game. On to the Raiders. If you guys are still with me, thank you. I'm being very studious about this, very nerdy, looking at my notes a lot. Um, but it's what I have to do. Colts or Raiders? Raiders D line, great edge rushers, poor interior. Crosby is a beast, 91.9 PFF pass rushing grade. Only Myles Garrett had more pressures. So, uh, again, Pryor is a weak spot. Um, I a good team is going to identify a weak spot. You can put in um, Mo Cox is a good blocker. You can put him in a position to play the blocker to free up Jonathan Taylor for big gains and to give Matt Ryan more time to throw the ball. That's always possible. it's really, really necessary when your quarterback, as I said a little earlier, relies on timing. I mean, Matt Ryan's a big timing guy. Um, but just these edge rushers, this Raiders defense, it's just too much. And then on the offense, I mean, Raiders, 15th ranked secondary. Um, they have Trevon Morig, Rocky Sin. Um, that'll improve their cornerback play. We had Rocky Sin with the Colts. He was good, not great. I think he fits right into the Raiders style. I remember him tweeting something about liking the Raiders better or something like that, being happier over there. Um, but on the offense aside for the Raiders, they have Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, plus Hunter Renfro and Darren Waller, who will be healthy um, by the time this game comes around. He'll be well healthy. I think he'll be fine for week one. Um, the Colts, I think, are going to get absolutely owned in this game. I have us at 6-4 at this point. I think it's going to be ugly. Raiders always play us tough. We always play them tough. But that was last year and previous seasons. When we played each other, we played each other tough. I just don't think it's going to be close this year. Um, I just don't. The Raiders have taken that necessary next step. They have more than just one target they can give the ball to. We re-signed Moali, but his route running isn't great. He has great hands. He's an amazing option in the red zone. There's a reason why we re-signed him. Um, he just really has to get that route running, man. It's shit. Raiders have all the weapons on the offensive side. We have Jonathan Taylor. I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think we're going to get our asses kicked. Eagles Colts now. As of right now, I should be calling this game with MG Nas. I hope that's still going to happen because he's awesome. A really good streamer, and it'll be a good game. Eagles O line are fourth ranked. Jordan Malata allowed 2 pressures and 14 starts. Lane Johnson didn't surrender a sack in 13 games. Jason Kelsey is older but still a forceful blocker. Getting pressure on Hurts, disrupting Miles Sanders, that'll be key. But I mean, you can get pressure on Hurts all day long if you want to. He's mobile, he can move. So I think we'll have to try and kind of rein him in, put a spy on him. Maybe have a Blackman or Harris or Cross. Somebody keep an eye on him. Maybe do some secondary blitzes, surprise blitzes every now and again to keep him in check. I think if we manage to do that, if we apply that pressure, get him mobile, and know that he's going to move, and we're right there to stop him. Easier said than done, but I think if we can manage that, I think we'll win this game. DeForest Buckner, Yannick Ngakwe, Nick Cross, Julian Blackman, if healthy at this point. Shaquille Leonard. They'll have to bring their A game here. They'll have to be locked in sync, no mistakes. We can't have a bend but don't break attitude for this game. The Eagles are going to be really good. If we are in sync, as I said, I think we'll win this game and improve the 7-4. Steelers at the Colts, week 12. Steelers secondary is ranked 24th. Their D line ranked 4th. O line ranked 26th. They were ranked 6th as a line in pressures allowed. 142. Placed 17th in pass blocking. Roethlisberger had 2.20 seconds per pass, quicker than most pressures will arrive. That's not going to happen with this O-line. It's just not. Trubisky's going to have a very, very rough outing. He'll want a hug from his mama when the game is over. Their line is young. They acquired James Daniels and Mason Cole, which is supposed to help. Um, but the O line has looked bad. They've looked bad in training camp. They've looked bad in preseason. They've just looked bad. There's one game in particular against the Jags where they looked like, you know, a D3 college team. They were just bad. You got Quiddy Pie, Ngakwe, DeForest Buckner, Shaquille Leonard. You're gonna have safety blitzes. It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be fucking ugly. Um, yeah, it's just not gonna be good. But the Steelers D man, this is what's gonna keep the game close. They have T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayworth, um, Harry Ogunjobi, Alex Highsmith, and others. It's just going to be a tough ball game. But that's why they are who they are. That's why they are intimidating. But we have Jonathan Taylor, the 10th best offensive line. They're going to target. The Steelers D is going to target Pryor. Um, but I don't think that's going to matter because I think they're going to be out on the field a lot. They're going to get tired, and we are going to break some big runs from both Hines and Taylor because of that. They might be good, but if you're out all the time, constantly on the field, you are human. You're going to wear down, and we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to win. We're going to improve to 8-4. Colts and Cowboys. O line for the Cowboys first, D line 21st, secondary 16th. We're gonna have a tough time, but not an impossible time penetrating that O line. We have the Maulers, we have the Beasts to create pressure, but they're the first ranked O line for a reason. I don't think they're. I think there's going to be more snaps when we don't get there when we need to. And because of that, our secondary, our corners are going to have a very tough time of it. If they can lock their guys down, because there's, I believe, more of an emphasis on man-to-man this year, more pressure. We're going to have a very tough time, especially with that secondary, stopping the Cowboys. We'll be helped. Nick Cross is going to have to play a flawless game. Our O line, we're going up against the 21st ranked D line. That'll help. They have Trayvon Diggs and Malik Hooker. So even if we get the ball out, we have to deal with that. The cards are stacked against us, even with our amazing defensive players. I think the Colts lose. I think we go 8-5 at this point. I think the Cowboys are just too good. They're just, even when there's a vulnerability, then they have a backup. They have a really good secondary. So it's gonna be tough. I don't think we'll win. I really don't think we'll win. 8-5. Then we have a bye week. Coming out of the bye, we play the Vikings. They have a 26th ranked secondary, 12th ranked D line, 23rd ranked O line. They shored up their O line through the draft, getting Christian Derrickson. He finished the 21 campaign last year. You know what I mean? With 71.8 PFF after allowing 22 pressures in 11 games. Brian O'Neill, the tackles. With Brian O'Neill, the tackles are really solid. That helps. That helps a lot. But you can improve your offensive line last year, but coming into this year when you really didn't do much, at least that I was able to find, I think we're gonna do our thing against the Vikings. I think DeForest Buckner's gonna eat. I think Quiddy Pie is going to probably have his best game. We're going to exploit this O-line. And because of that, we're going to take pressure off our secondary. If we can take pressure off our secondary, that's a good day. That's a really, really good day for us. So the secondary is ranked 26th. That's Jonathan Taylor and company. You know, going up against Harrison Smith and Daniel Hunter. Um, I think we'll do okay there. Harrison Smith's a solid baller, but he's older. Daniel Hunter, he'll do fine. But I don't think we'll have to put the ball in the air too much. I don't think Matt Ryan's going to have to do too much. Um, Vikings do have Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, but we have Jonathan Taylor, and they're going to have a lot of pressure. Justin Jefferson's going to be pissed off by the end of this game. He's not going to have a lot of time moving the ball or to move or to catch the ball. He's going to be absolutely knackered. He's one of my favorite British words. Colts win. We approve our record. 2-5. Chargers and Colts. Chargers have a defense of secondary ranked third, defensive line ranked seventh, O line ranked 10th. Okay, Chargers are studs. A good O line, good D line, good secondary. Chargers can make a Super Bowl run. They can win it all. I just think at every position, we're outmanned and outgunned. They have Herbert, Eckler, Allen, Mike Williams. Defense, they have Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Derwin James, Sebastian Joseph Day. We're vastly improved offensively and defensively. Even if our line is 100%, O line is 100% healthy coming into this game, I think we're going to get demolished. I think it's going to be the first blowout the Colts see this season. I think it's going to be ugly. We improved to 9-6. I'm not looking forward to that game. I think the Colts have been cited as a black horse Super Bowl contender, but you know, as much as I want to believe that, and as much as I might say Super Bowl, I would be very surprised. I think we'll win the division. I think we'll make the playoffs. We aren't going to make the Super Bowl. If that Chargers game is going to be ugly. We have another bye week, week 17, when we play the Giants. Their O line's ranked 30th, and that's really all you need to know. We are going to feast. We're going to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 22 desserts. We're going to own Danny Dimes, make him our absolute bitch. Following that, week 18 against the Texans. Whew. I don't want to end the season like we ended the season last season. That's a lot of seasons in the same sentence. A lot of S's in the same sentence as well. Davis Mills and company, they're going to try their best. They're going to try their best. But we have a week 14 bye. We're going to have fresher legs. I just I don't want the season to end like it did last year. And I know the Colts aren't going to want to. They aren't going to look past this game like they did the Jags. Everybody was looking toward the playoffs. They had in their minds it was locked in. That's not going to happen this time. We're going to come in prepared. We're going to come in kicking ass, taking names. Especially considering our record coming into this game and there being murmurs that Wright is on the hot seat. I think they're really going to come in super, super motivated and do everything in their power to win this game. And I think we're going to. I think we're going to end the season 11-6. I don't think this is going to be close at all. I think our secondary will have the best game because by this point we are a solidified, gelled unit. I think we'll do awesome. I think Jonathan Taylor will be on an MVP run, and I think he'll want to solidify that with a big dominant game to get us into the right frame of mind, the right mindset going into the playoffs. Renewed vigor. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be atrocious on the Texans' part. I think we own them. I think, yeah, we win. I think we win the AFC South, and I think we go to the playoffs. I think once we get there, we'll see teams that are better than us. I don't think we'll make it deep into the playoffs, because I think we've taken that next step, but we still have pieces missing. And because of that, I think we'll get owned in the playoffs. I think reality will hit home very, very quickly. But we'll have made the playoffs. We'll have showed out. Right, will keep his job. It'll be a fun season. Um, yeah. So that's my record prediction. Hope you liked it. Thank you for sticking around. Um, yeah, I'm proud of this video. I don't know how it'll go over, but this is one of my favorite videos. I had a good time doing the research. I had a good time making the the graphic, um, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this. And I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for tuning in, and let's have a good season, Colts.